The next step will be programming our contact points on this reader. Now I'm going to click on Edit Contacts over here. Just remember all these, what we're about to do, this would have been programmed for us by the template. I'm just showing you this so that you can see how to add additional contacts, how to add additional relays if you ever need to. Or customize a template, right, if you ever need to. So I clicked on my Edit Contacts. I'm going to hit the plus down here in this bottom window to now program additional contacts. Now this is going to be my server room request to exit. Whoops. Make sure you give this a good name. There will come a time when you're picking from a big list of contact points, all your contact points in one list. You want to make sure you name this so it'll be easier to find. Now this question here is asking us, is this contact point connected to a controller or is it a contact point on the reader interface? We're programming the contact point that's on the reader interface. So when I click the expand button here, make sure you're on your readers tab, right? This isn't a contact point on the controller. If this contact was going to be connected to one of our input-output boards, the optional input-output boards on a controller, then I would say it's connected to the controller. But this is the contact point on the server room reader interface. Now, what type of contact is this? This is going to be the request to exit. This list has all of our different types of contacts in there. Now, most of these are just labels, but the DOD and the elevator call button do have programming behind them. If we tell our software that this contact point is a door contact, our software knows that a contact active on a door contact is a door forced open. A contact active after a shunt time is a door held open. If we tell our software that this is an elevator call button, then the software is going to enable elevator call features, right? Elevator features, what reader is in the elevator. So what we're programming right now will be the request to exit. Now, location. This is for transaction monitoring, also for our system security privileges. If I was somebody logging into the software and I don't have rights to see the server room area, that's where we're going to say this is, I won't see transactions for this contact point. Now, alarm samples, fault samples, and debounds, we'll talk about in a little bit. Parallel and series resistors, if you're doing contact point supervision, you tell us the value of your contact points in there. We're going to put this request to exit on input number 1. If your request to exit was a motion sensor and you don't want that degraded mode feature where the relay or the contact point automatically energizes the relay, then we can put that in input number 3. But we're going to leave it on input number 1. Verify status doesn't apply to a request to exit. Is this normally open or normally closed? I'm going to say that the request to exit is normally open. We're looking for the close to then do something, to get the contact active. And it is installed. I'm going to hit save and new to go right into the next contact point. Notice the contact point will not show up in this main programming window until we finally hit close. I'm going to now program the server room door contact, the DOD. Still attached to my server room reader. Contact type. This is now my DOD, the door contact. Connected to the server room, well, it's part of the server room location. Now, alarm samples, fault samples, and debounds. Alarm samples is the amount of time that we sample this contact point before we tell you, yes, it's active, right? We've got very low voltage that's constantly sampling, constantly checking the contact points on this board. When we get a contact active, the board sees up contact active, but then we check it one more time. We sample it twice before we actually report that to the software. Fault samples would be the amount of times that we sample the resistance in the wires before we tell you, yes, somebody cut a wire. Now, this isn't 2 seconds. It's not 16 milliseconds. It's faster than that. It's the amount of time it takes us to sample the contact point before we tell you, or the resistor, before we tell you, yes, something is going on here. Debounce is the amount of time that you want us to wait when the door closes before we actually report to you, before we check it again and tell you that it's active. So if you've got a door that has a little bit of a bounce to it, the door closes and maybe bounces open, there's a problem with the closer. If that problem exists, when the door closes, you'll get a contact secure. If it bounces open, you're going to get a door forced open, then a contact secure, then a door forced open, then a contact secure, until the door settles down, right? You can say, let's wait 3 seconds before we sample that after contact secure. Now, input number, this is going to be input number 2 on the reader interface. Verify status is very important on a DOD. Verify status checks the status of the door contact when it comes out of an automatic override. So if somebody had propped a door open that was in an automatic override, when that door comes out of the automatic override, we're going to sample that door contact to say, is the door open or closed? So if somebody propped that door open that was in an automatic override, we verify the status when the door comes out of its automatic override, and we'll say, uh-oh, the door is open. You get a door held open. Now, this is not normally open. This is going to be a normally closed, and it's installed. So I'm going to save this. Done. Now I've got my request to exit and my door contact program.